Welcome to this demonstration video of the fin tool in the Shaperwave Dynamics software. We have a specific tab in this software to deal with surfboard fins. So in a given project we see the different modules that make up the board. Custom outline, tail, series of rails and sections, couple rockers, and therefore the fins. Fins are separated into two categories: classic, static technologies and dynamic variable geometry technologies. So what you usually find on most boards are static technology fins. So if we want in our project to work on the fins, we have a series of tools that allow us to configure our board, and even to design our own fins according to our desire. So here we take an example of a basic board. We will deactivate the shape room objects. Here we have a mounted set. The fastest and easiest way to modify fins. It is simply to choose from our library a fin. Here, we will choose for example a static fin. We drag it into our project and it is placed automatically. We have for example different types of fins here. We delete. And just for example you will see that we have a fin editor that allows us to make fins of different shapes, and so of course we can save them in the library. Here, for example, we have small side fins that fit on very specific types of boards. Here, we can have the very small side fins. We just have to select the fins from our library and drag them inside our board. Insert one and click on an antagonist to create the other opposite. For our friends on the Basque Coast, we're going to put a little swing here. Or we could put dynamic technology here. The easiest and fastest way is to drag the fins from our library into our project. At the bottom we have the Fins tab. Let's see this tab. We have in the tree, at the bottom right, the different fins that make up our board. Here, therefore, we are all in dynamic technology on this example. So here we have our 4 fins in the tree. But of course we could have mixed or completely static technology, so the choice of fin technology is made here on the left. Thanks to these options, we could select all static, all dynamic, or a mix of the two. So in this pre-configurator we will say, which allows us to select types of sets and apply them very quickly. We have some basic setups, let's say single here, and if we go to see the set, so here, clicking on single, our board is equipped as single. So the central position, when it's mixed, is dynamic. But if we had chosen all static and we are doing single, there we have a static technology which is implemented. We will start with a static technology. So here we have selected a single fin. We could have chosen duo. Let's see what happens. We implant in duo. The implantations are therefore done in a fairly basic way. And of course, we will have to make adjustments to the final positions of our fins. Here, it's just to show the different pre-selected configurations. Here, we have mounted a quad. So let's just pick up with a single and see how to use this feature. So here we have our single fin. When we select the fin here, we have its properties displayed and we can modify. For example, its height here it is 112, we will set it to 212 millimeters in height. Or its width. So we're going to move to more reasonable values. Here, we could also change the location. So there, we move it forward, backward or to the side. If we want a side fin, then with a board model drawing that shows us the location of the fins we want. It is pretty simple to work out and come and position our fins where we want so that they correspond to the model that we wish to create. We can directly enter the values in the text boxes. So much for the position. There, it is the adjustment toe, so it is the angle of toe. And the adjustment of the cant is here. So what we find on an ordinary board, it's about 3, 4, 5 degrees of cant. The variation of projection of the forces induced by this angle corresponds to the sine of the angle. This generates 1 to 2% variation in forces. So it's more of an aesthetic effect than a real performance effect. But it's true that when there's a little bit of cant it's nice. In absolute terms, since the angles and the fins are often antagonistic, we have the cant angles reversed on each side. And in the end we have a result that is almost neutral when all the fins are submerged. We will see the functions for creating antagonistic fins. So here, we created a fin and set its position, its toe and its cant, 3 degrees of inside toe. And if we want to create the opposite one, we won't start all the work over again. We're just going to use this tool, create the antagonist, which comes to put us the antagonist in position we selected at the start of the presets. But we can of course add individual fins. So here we are going to add a fin with this function there. So a small interface comes up and asks us to select the type of fins. We will stay static and we will add the fin which is placed in the middle. We could therefore in the same way move it. Let's admit that we want to put a little more internal toe. Say 3 degrees, and we create its antagonist. And that's it, we made our set. We will see the tools here when we select a fin. We have the tools, we have already seen the antagonist, and already seen how to add a fin. We see here how to delete one, we will delete this one for example. OK, and this one for example. Here is for the suppression. When the ailerons are of static type, they are defined by a series of profiles which constitute them, which can be modified with the creation and performance calculation tool for a fin. Here we will select a static aileron, and so there we see the menu that allows us to modify the ailerons. We are not going to approach it right away, it will be the subject of a complete tutorial. But let us know that this tool exists. To finish with the fins tab, we have the export function, we can export the static fins in STL format to open them in 3D printing software. One more thing. The performance of the fin is given according to the speeds that will be entered in the dynamic parameters. This will be the subject of a tutorial on dynamic parameters. So much for the fin creation with Shaperwave Dynamics.
Voilà, admettons, nous venons passer là avec un nombre d'auto identique. On va lui mettre un peu plus d'auto à lui. Allez, on va mettre 3 degrés. Et donc on fait son antagoniste. Et voilà, nous avons fait notre set. Donc ça pour les ailerons. Donc on va avoir les outils ici. Quand on sélectionne un aileron, donc ici on a les outils, vous avez vu déjà l'antagoniste, vous avez déjà vu comment ajouter un aileron. On voit aussi bien sûr comment en supprimer un. Tac, on va supprimer celui-ci par exemple. Ok. Et celui-ci par exemple. Ok. Donc là les suppressions. Donc les ailerons, quels sont nos petits statiques